Welcome back to the Trading Desk. Well, here's a segment of the show where we're going to bring home everything we've talked about thus far, about global asset markets, stock markets, everything we've talked about, and talk about how it impacts you here at home, local economy, and get a sense of how it's going to impact your life. Two big things here in town. Local real estate, I mean, it's the biggest thing here in town, and I guess just local business.
Well, I think it's obvious. I think you'd
Really?
have to be under a rock right now to not finally admit that things have slowed down.
Yeah.
Even the most Pollyanna-ish realtors in town are telling you, yeah, it's a little slow. So
A little bit of spin.
well, you got to be spinning. I mean, you're selling. If you're selling something, you're spinning something.
Sure.
So we're not selling anything here. That's why we're trying to give you the.
And
straight
my
spin.
big worry about the real estate market is we had such a kind of a beneficial cycle going up. I mean, people moving here because they want to get in on the real estate gold rush, I call it. And they wanted to make money as a realtor, a developer, whatever it was. And that that growth just kind of compounded and fed on itself and created this huge boom. And now we could see kind of a vicious cycle in the opposite direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People leaving town, more vacant homes coming on the market, and that could be a vicious cycle to the
Well,
downside.
I mean,
That's the thing. That's my real worry.
Some of
for
the, I
local
mean, just some of
economy.
the hard numbers. I mean, you can't. What have we lost? 100, 200, 300 million in actual transactional sales. So over a year. I mean, huge numbers, and that transactional. Those sales numbers are gone, which essentially pares down to that is leaving the local economy.
Well, and
Exactly.
what you won't hear in the bulletin or any other media source is that prices are down significantly. I mean, everybody hears, oh, prices are flat. They're not going up anymore. Prices are down from peak to where we are today, down 20%.
Right.
I mean, and sales down 50%.
Sales are down 50 to 70, depending
That-
on
that is-
Redmond,
I mean,
Sisters,
that is-
Prineville.
I mean,
all these,
that's
all
crash.
these, all these
That's-
ancillary markets where you've got thousands of proposed subdivisions. These things are done.
Those are crash
They're not
type
gonna
numbers.
happen,
I mean,
yeah.
so there's going to be an economic impact. And just talking to local business owners, going to local restaurants, things are slow. We went down and talked to Duncan, tried to get him to come down on the TV show.
He didn't
owns
wanna do that.
Pegasus Books downtown.
Didn't wanna do that.
But he's been downtown running his business for over
20 plus.
25 years.
Yeah.
He's seen
He's got the
locals
pulse.
and things for him. And he has what he considers kind of a recession-resistant type business, and even he's seen a slowdown in the last few months, and he's not very optimistic it's going to pick up.
Yeah, and you're seeing really the final candle, if you will, the final blow off of that move. Look at all the lifestyle businesses that have opened or just opening downtown, restaurants. We're not going to single out anybody, but there's so many that are all opening right here at the top.
Yeah.
I mean, is there sustenance for all these to make it?
Well, we're probably going to go
likewise?
through a belt tightening, and I think the businesses that recognize this and don't keep their head buried in the sand, they'll get by. I mean, Bend is not going to go off the map, but I think people have got to come to terms with the fact that we are slowing down.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, but again, there's some factors here besides just price. People are still they're high on the ask. There are no bids because the credit
that's
is
why
gone.
springtime is going to be.
Well, I wrote a thing.
Very telling.
I wrote a piece on my blog a couple years ago. Tom Podiowski, who's the chief economist for the state of Oregon, a couple years ago said, when Oregon, caught a cold, Bend used to get pneumonia. And since things were booming so big in 2005, he says, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that old adage is going to hold true. And if Oregon and the nation, catch a cold, have a recession, Bend is going to see a more severe version of that just because of the.
Well, we don't have the
Well,
we don't have
again,
depth
the
of
things that
labor
you see
market and
reported in
everything.
the paper today. I mean, the city can't plow the streets. I mean, we've had so much snow here this last 2 or 3 weeks, and they can't.
There are
clear the
millions
snow.
and millions of dollars over
Every day, and then they're talking
over
about they can't clear the
Cutting
snow
the
parks.
budget.
Please stay away from them. So the spin is out there. The bus system was a complete failure. I mean, these things, the money was spent, and now they're looking for more money, and
there's no
What
What
revenue.
happened to
no
the rainy
impact.
day fund?
yeah.
Rainy day fund.
Well,
yeah.
we had 27 roundabouts. We had to pay art for all those. I mean, that's $200,000 per art piece.
That
That's
is
a huge
classic bubble behavior. People see it's huge boom and then they just project it out into the future
Forever.
without understanding things move in cycles, and we're going to see.
And the
downside.
fact is,
Jesse,
most
if you
people
can't make
don't.
me 100% a year as my money manager, I don't want you.
Sorry.
We could go on about this one for a while. I mean, again, we're not prognosticating that, but there's going to be some belt tightening going on here locally, and I think that
You should
if
prepare for it in your
prepare
business.
for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. We got to wrap it up on this particular segment, but when we come back, we're going to wrap up our show with Fantasy Finance, where we give you our picks for the next month. You're watching the Trading Desk. We'll be right back.